What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another wrestling news video. And this is, yes, sir, ma'am. I said wrestling news video, and this is episode 182, where I'm going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know. And it's from the wrestling news article of Sportskeeda, which is going to be talking about what's going on in the wrestling world in December on today's wrestling news on December 18th, 2023. And this is part 69, I believe. Yeah, of the wrestling news. So let's begin. Starting off on today's video, it is the WWE Raw results, like on December 18th, 2023. The Judgment Day set for massive upset, and it says right here onto this article. Let's see. Look like we're going to have to go back to that one. My apologies, by the way. And okay, I think this is going to be a better one. And it is some United States Championship news, or former United States champion getting jacked ahead of WWE return. I thought the United States, but it says a former United States champion set for a WWE return ahead of a WWE return. It says a certain WWE veteran has been absent on television for months and appears he is preparing for a comeback. While he has settled into the in a managerial role today, MVP is someone to look out for. Someone to look out for, being one of the longest reigning United States champions of all time. He created an impact like se- like seldom others do, even in his current role. Omos is reportedly being cited as a special attention WWE superstar by officials. Like the Nigerian giant and MVP have been working live events as of late, and were last seen in the summer on Instagram. The the veteran teased that he is gearing up for something massive in the coming weeks, as WrestleMania season is upon us. And with him writing on, I believe, Instagram, with him training in the gym, saying, "Use it or lose it." And here's the clip of him training at the gym. Oh, my apology. Okay. Okay. Excuse me for a second. Just some technical difficulties. Okay, I'm back on here. Okay, okay, come on, video, pop back up. Hmm. I'm just have to go to the Instagram itself. This is him training at the gym right here. And what's your thoughts on that from the former former WWE United States champion? And are you ready to see him make a huge comeback in the company of stepping back foot in the ring? And do you think he's going to step foot back into in-ring competition, or you think he's going to be continuing to be a managing role for the Nigerian giant Omos for the rest of his WWE and wrestling career? I'll say not wrestling, more like in for the rest of his WWE career. I got it right the first time, but yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, he's starting to look jacked now. Like not like Jack, like he's huge, but he's starting to starting to be more bigger than he was previously. Like when at his arms, yeah, it's like he's taking this more serious than ever before, if you know what I mean. But let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is some Braun Strowman news with him. Like with Braun Strowman saying he's gigantic, like and shares interesting incident with a 51-year-old wrestling star. Onto this Sportskeeda article now, onto this Sportskeeda news article. WWE superstar Braun Strowman recently opened up about his honest opinion on the Great Khali. Strowman is considered one of the industry's biggest and strongest athletes. The monster of all monster is currently on a hiatus from the company due to his severe neck injury. And while speaking in a recent interview on the Ranveer Show podcast, Strowman shared his honest opinion on the Great Khali. He mentioned how huge the 51-year-old has now, or has, and also recalled how he had dumped him from the top rope at the Greatest Royal Rumble. He said, "He's gigantic, one of the largest human beings that I have ever seen. I've I've only been had the opportunity to be in the ring with him once, and it was at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he hit me with a big with a big chop, like in the head, like in just about knocked out, loopy, but not loopy enough to not pick him giant giant bull sugar honey iced tea up iced tea up and dump him over the top rope like I did with the other 49 guys in that match. Well, not entirely the other 49 guys. Only only probably just like the half mass majority, I should say, of the superstars that are participated in the Greatest Royal Rumble at that year, which was 5 years ago. But anyways, what's your thoughts on that with Braun Strowman getting the chance to share the ring with someone like the Great Khali size? And do you think he's going to face the Great Khali again, except this time in a or this time around it could be in a like a normal one-on-one traditional match like he did with Omos a year ago at Crown Jewel? And do you think it's going to happen once again? You're going to see Braun Strowman pick up the Great Khali, except this time in a one-on-one traditional match. And this will be the second ever gigantic 7-footer he put down to the ground, like next to Omos, of course. And him being the second ever wrestler to knock down Omos off his feet, I should say as well. But it also said. But we also have some more news about Braun Strowman. I shared his experience of competing at the Royal Rumble. WWE superstar Braun Strowman shared his experience of competing at the Royal Rumble Premium Live event while speaking during the same interview, of the same interview of during that same interview with the Ranveer Show podcast. Shares his experience of competing at the Royal Rumble Premium. Oh yeah, I already said that. Well, once we go on the same interview of the Ranveer Show podcast, the Monster of All Monster revealed that the Royal Rumble matches are usually chaotic when also added how his opponents had always targeted him, knowing he was the match's biggest and strongest. He said, "It's chaotic, and I always feel like anytime I'm in these multi-man matches, everyone gains up on me. Which I mean, let's be real. Why wouldn't you? Or why wouldn't you? Let's get rid of the biggest and strongest and baddest son of a bitch out be out here, but it don't always work out that way for everybody. It would be exciting to see what plans WWE has going forward for Braun Strowman in the near future. And what's your opinion about what's your thoughts about Braun Strowman's status in WWE currently, and also what's your thoughts on Braun Strowman revealing that excuse me, and what's your thoughts on Braun Strowman revealing that he's the first target when he's entering the Royal Rumble, when everybody trying to see who they should get rid of first, considering he's the biggest and strongest man in the match. Let me know in the comments down below, which I agree, and that's a disadvantage right there, especially for the fact that there's more than one smaller man in the match that's trying to get Braun Strowman out first, so they can have more likely opportunity, especially if they agree with the other smaller guy and start trying to lift him out of there. Which they'll say that's the only disadvantage when it comes to being a giant the the third biggest pay per view of the year, which is the Royal Rumble, like which is the third biggest pay per view that's before the showcase of the Immortals, of course, which is WrestleMania. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what y'all think about that. And also, when do you think Braun Strowman is going to make his return? Is it going to be at the Royal Rumble or is it going to be in the later date? Let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, let's move on to the next news. Let's move on to the next one, and it is next next up we have AJ Styles and four other WWE stars who turned heel immediately after making their return. Well, I'll say yeah, just real fast, to look at the top five list with former WWE with starting off with the former WWE champion AJ Styles finally made his return to WWE TV this past Friday in the closing moments of SmackDown. The phenomenal one uh, came to the came to the aid of Randy Orton and LA Knight, both are of whom were on the business end of breakdown by the bloodline. In the end, the three baby faces stood the defiant in the ring as Roman Reigns in his cahoots hightailed it away. That is until Styles laid Knight out with a soft arm clothesline, or not soft. I said soft. I mean short arm clothesline. I really need to put all my glasses on because yeah, my reading skills without my glasses is horrible. But anyways, short short arm clothesline. I mean, turning heel in the process, or so it seems anyway. This is WWE in 2023. Nothing is all that cut and dry. Like it is that AJ Styles isn't. And it also says AJ Styles isn't the first superstar to make a triumphant return to action, only to shock the fans with a switch in their alignment. So, like AJ did to LA, let's lay this out here. Are four other superstars who turned heel in their return into television. Number four, Sheamus returns with a new haircut and a bad attitude. When the Celtic Warrior lost his WWE United States Championship to Rusev in May of 2014, in May of 2014, in and effectively written off TV for nearly a year. He he was well established, a good guy in the company, while he began his WWE tenure as a villain. Sheamus had slowly mor- morphed into one of the company's more traditional baby faces when the Great White when the Great White raced to the ring on Raw on on March 30th of the next year. It seemed like he was coming to the aid of Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. However, after chasing off their attacker, which was Wade Barrett at the time, out of the ring, Sheamus would turn around and kick Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler right in their respective faces. Like that looks oddly familiar. Like Sheamus would go on to form an alliance with Barrett as well as Alberto Del Rio and the the aforementioned Rusev, I should say. The aforementioned Rusev, named the League of Nations, despite the idea behind the group being widely panned by fans. The Celtic Warrior did made another WWE Championship reign during this time. Number 3, Neville. Neville's return to become the 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 tyrant king of the WWE cruiserweights. WWE clearly had high hopes for Neville, not known as Pac in All Elite Wrestling, of course. When he when they launched him like almost almost literally onto the main roster, debuting with a superhero like gimmick, the British high flying or not high flyer. The British high flyer began his run with feuds against the likes of Bad News Barrett and Bo Dallas. He even had a high profile match against Cody Rhodes, which he was Stardust at the time, and he and Barrett, and he also with him against him and Barrett teaming with Green Arrow and heel star Stefan Amell. Stefan Amell at SummerSlam in 2015. Which I remember watching that match like it was yesterday when I was 13 at the time. I was is Green Arrow really wrestling? Like, how is he teaming with Neville? And he knows Cody Rhodes personally, and even Cody Rhodes made a guest star appearance on the show like 3 years after that. But at that time, he was getting ready to start a promotion with Tony Khan, which that would be an All Elite Wrestling. And we seen none other than Stephon Amell wrestling in the match, which I'm not sure which was at the time, but he wrestled at the All In pay per view, where they had with them having wrestlers from New Japan, Ring of Honor, and National Wrestling Alliance wrestling for the promotion, for this pay per view event from this, making it like an independent pay-per-view event. Yeah, with all the wrestlers from 3 or even 4 different promotions. If you want to count like someone like AAA or Major League Wrestling into the matter. But they did call plenty of wrestlers there, like the likes of Chris Jericho and Damian Priest when he was his Ring of Honor in his Ring of Honor days, I should say, and the Lucha Brothers and Hangman Adam Page, the Elite, and all of them at the time. And even Stefan Amell. But anyways, continuing to this, about the heel turn of Pac or Neville at the time, things weren't exactly going great for him at that point. However, he needed a change following a month-long break to heal some nagging injuries. Neville returned at roadblock at the end of the line, like to congratulate then cruiserweight champion Rich Swann on his successful title defense, raising his arm in a show of a mutual respect before assaulting him with a rough new look, like in an even rougher new attitude. Neville declared himself the king of the cruiserweights and demanded his crown, the the cruiserweight champion, which he would eventually be like coronated with the at the 2016 Royal Rumble, defeating Rich Swann in the title, for the title. I mean, not in the title, for the title. And they said 2016. I'm pretty sure it was 2017, and he turned heel at the end of 2016. Just, not trying to correct him just by criticizing him, but just saying like genuinely, like they mistakenly said 2016, but they meant 2017 at the Royal Rumble side of things, which it was the end of 2016 when he made his return from long nagging and unfortunate injuries, of course. But up next we have number 2, and that is Sasha Banks. Like makes a triumphant return, beats up Natalia. By WrestleMania 35 in 2019, Sasha Banks had already achieved the kind of success like most performers only dream of. She had multiple women's championship reigns to her name and was one half of the very first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions alongside Bayley. Needless to say, she was a pretty big deal. However, a loss of those titles at the aforementioned WrestleMania, a loss that she and Bailey allegedly only found out about right before the match, like in a bout with depression, led to the boss take some time off, 4 months, like in fact, with speculations like rampant that she was even leaving the company. Not until, but she actually left 4 years ahead because that was 2019 when I started to be Super Ninja Austin, by the way. But anyways, yeah, that she walked and left. Not, I don't say walked out, more like left and took a 4 month absence. But yeah, I was thinking like, is she leaving at that time? I was thinking because I was starting to watch everybody on YouTube and they were like speculating that she might leave the company, but that didn't happen until 3 years later. Well, actually, technically 4 years later because her contract expired on New Year's at the beginning of this year, and she went to New Japan. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But this is where yeah. Anyways, yeah, she's gonna leave the company. But then on the August 12th, 2019 edition of Monday Night Raw, Banks made a shocking return during an already emotional promo by an injured Natalia. By now, yeah, by now you're probably sensing a theme here. The boss would then go on in even more success, like including main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania 37 along with Bianca Belair, which I'll say the blueprint gimmick. This is the which I'll say, yeah. This was like a blessing in disguise. Like but not only revealing that she had blue hair, but she became the blueprint and the main eventer of WrestleMania like 2 years later in 2021, like at night one. Well, I'll say technically a year and a half because it was April, which that's a year and 8 months. Yeah, of course. But yeah, but anyways, yeah, we're going number one, and that is Roman Reigns wrecks everybody and then leaves. Like he may be head of the table now, but lest like we forget like the long and winding road it took to get Roman Reigns to that point. While he had held a number of world championships and other accolades, like by 2020, Reigns had well, I mean, Reigns was still a pretty the div, divi, divisive, I should say, divisive figure like amongst fans, so divisive, like in fact that many were suggesting I a- I actually like a suggestion or actually begging might be better term like for WWE to turn him heel. Still, the big dog kept on doing what he was doing, like right up until lead into WrestleMania 36. What's important to remember here is that this popular this part not pop, this particular WrestleMania was being held just as the COVID-19 pandemic began running rampant. Reigns was uh, was slated to face then Universal Champion Goldberg at the bout with leukemia had left his Im, 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 immune, I should say, left his immune system like a, com, a, comp- compromised, like compromised, promised, like in the fact that he also had two born children at home. Reigns pulled out of the match, being replaced by Braun Strowman. Flash forward at SummerSlam that year, like Strowman was looked to reclaim Braun Strowman was to reclaim the Universal Championship. He had he had defeated Goldberg for from the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Like not only was unsuccessful, but the night was about to get a lot worse for the monster among men. Like wearing wearing a shirt like in bright in in bl- in black going in blast zone like in blast zone with the on the nose like slogan like wreck everyone and leave. Reigns destroyed destroyed both Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, signing his in intentions to reclaim the title he has never actually lost. He was forced to vacate the Universal Championship following his leukemia diagnosis like a year earlier, which he did a week later at Payback, defeating the two men in a triple threat match to reclaim the Championship for a second time. For a second time, things seem to be on seems to be going okay for him since then. But what do you thought? What's your thoughts on these top five heel turns from recent years, from the past, at least from the past, how many years? I'll say from the past 8 years. And which one was your favorite? Which I'll say two of them out of this five list are my favorite, at least. Like if you ask me, but let me know what y'all think about in the comments down below. And let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is we got some more news, and it says only one man could have played The Undertaker instead of Mark Calloway himself, WWE legend said. And according to this wild wrestling news, it says Mark Calloway instantly became a WWE megastar when he debuted as The Undertaker in 1990. In an exclusive interview, Jake Roberts claims Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, is the only other person could potentially have who could potentially had succeeded in portraying the dead man. Jacobs performed as Fake Diesel and Isaac Yankem in WWE before being repackaged in 1997 as The Undertaker's brother Kane. The Big Red Machine adopted many of the phenoms. I mean, my apologies. Phenoms trademark moves, including the choke slam and the tombstone pile driver. Roberts faced the Dead Man several times in the early 90s, in the early 1990s. Let me rephrase that. And while speaking to Sportskeeda Wrestling senior editor Bill Apter, he addressed whether anyone else could have taken on the dark persona. He said, "I don't think anybody could have done it." Robert said, "Kane would have been a close second other than that. Like, I forget about it." Yeah, he's like second. Let me say it again. Like Kane would have been a close second other, than that. Forget about it. But what's your thoughts about Jake Roberts? What do you think about that? Think about that statement from Jake Roberts, and do you think that the Undertaker is excuse me? Do you think that the Undertaker is or do you think that the Undertaker played too much of a played the hell out of the character to the point that you thought that he came up with it himself? And do you think that? And what are your thoughts on Jake Roberts' comments about that? The do you think that Kane is the other is the second to close of playing the Undertaker, other than Mark Calloway himself playing the persona? But you would think that the Undertaker trademarked that, and but considering he plays a good role into that. Into the persona in WWE, which I believe WWE owns the rights of the Undertaker and the Dead Man, or anything that's associates with the gimmick in World Wrestling Entertainment. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. I would agree with Jake the Snake Roberts. Like no one could play the role. And do you think someone could ever play the Undertaker character, other than Mark Calloway? But I would say if not the Undertaker, I would agree with Jake the Snake. I would say definitely Kane. Like because for the fact that he played his brother and he played a successful role as playing his kayfabe little brother. Like in WWE storyline, I should say, in fictional WWE storyline, he played his absolute best as Kane, like the younger brother of the Undertaker. And I would thought they were really brothers because for the fact they're both big, strong, and frightening, like looking, and playing their supernatural characters very well, of course. But yeah, like, and even yeah, like I said before, and I said it again, like even my own grandmother even thought that they were actual brothers, despite playing the characters. But they are really like they're really not brothers. Like they were just playing a persona. Like they're just playing that like just for the entertainment for the wrestling fans. Like just to make it more like a wrestling version of a soap opera, if you know what I mean. Yeah, like making it more like make it something that's more fictional, like and not and make it less reality and make it more like what the point of wrestling is like like ever since the WWE's been created back in the early days in the '60s, or if not more, or even when they were getting more successful when they were in their prime in the '80s, like when Vince McMahon was working with his father, Vince McMahon Sr., but or Vincent Kennedy McMahon, what he would like to be properly referred as. But anyways, yeah, let me know in the comments. I'll say if there wasn't no Mark Calloway in the wrestling business, I would say Glenn Jacobs would have made. But yeah, in my opinion, I think he would have made a perfect Undertaker person in second place. I would say overall, but yeah, nobody couldn't replace the Undertaker. Like no, like even my yeah, like even my family would say that too. Like there's nobody, even if there was a replacement Undertaker and the Undertaker like gets shined like he did, like there's nobody replacing the Undertaker. Like he's the GOAT in professional wrestling and all in WWE particular. But anyways, we got some more to talk about the Undertaker with Jake Roberts, as he said has a history with the Undertaker. Like in 1992, the Undertaker defeated Jake Roberts at WrestleMania 8 to record the second of his out of his 21 is his consecutive wins at the annual event for the former opponents. Also got long well behind the scenes, and it says right here. Been asked if he could tell a story about his legendary on-screen rival, like Jake. Jake joked that he might have to save those tales for his podcast, which is his Snake Pit podcast, of course. Which I think that's for the better. Like, and if I have some information like that myself, I would be saying that too about. I'm gonna talk about that on the SNA podcast if I have any stories to tell onto my SNA podcast. But for now, I'll be doing these wrestling news and wrestling reviews in the time being. But he said, "I got, I gotta leave that alone. Occasionally, there's might be a blur out there, like during the podcast, during the podcast episode, like about it, like, but yeah, that's rough." That's rough ground to go over. And that's on Article 559 to 614. In the same interview, he also, Jake Roberts reflected on how the 2022 Hall of Famer performed as a rookie during the early days in his WWE career. But yeah, that's in the story in another article. Hopefully, we get to there in just a moment. But what's your thoughts on Jake Roberts' opinion on the Undertaker in his early years? In this, I would say his third year, because he got there in '93, or not '93. I'm talking about '90. Got there in 1990. But so that's like three. That's like his third year of being in the WWE. Unless you can consider it being a second year for the fact that he made his WWE debut in the end of 1990. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on that as well. As long as along with Glenn, with him saying Glenn Jacobs is second of playing the Undertaker character. I played the Undertaker character in a very successful manner, like considering he played his brother Kane. But yeah, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is we got some former WWE superstar gives Chelsea Green a new nickname ahead of Raw. Currently, women's tag team champion Chelsea Green received a new nickname from a former WWE superstar ahead of Monday Night Raw. Green and Piper Niven are set to defend their titles for just the third time tonight on WWE Raw. The champs will try to fend off the red hot team of Katana Chance and Kanan Carter, who earned a title shot after two straight wins in the past 2 weeks. Chance and Carter defeated Natalia and Tegan Knox 2 weeks ago before following up with a huge victory over Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell to become the number one contenders for the tag titles. Green and Niven, on the other hand, successfully defended their championships against Chase Hughes, JC Jane, and Thea Hale, and also Natalia and Tegan Knox in the past few weeks. Ahead of tonight's WWE Raw in Des Moines, Iowa, Chelsea Green received a new nickname from a real-life husband and former WWE Intercontinental Champion Matt Cardona, which he's formerly known as Zack Ryder. Green is already called a hot mess, but Cardona has a new one, and for his wife by taking to Twitter by calling her. He wrote remember the name of Gold Chels Cardona wrote, I should say, my bad. And my bad about the stutterings. Make sure I get them correctly. But anyways, yeah, maybe I should speed it up just a little bit, along with not being too fast. But anyways, he called his new wife Gold Chels. And here's the tweet right here. Him saying, remember the name of Gold Chels. And what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on the former IC title complimenting his wife in such a unique nickname? But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all to be the judge of that in the comments down below. But But it also says Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green has been together since January 2017. They got engaged 2 years later before getting married on December 31st, 2021, which is New Year's Eve of 2021 on the head of 2022, which that's nearly 2 years. That's nearly 2 years ago. Like in the next 2 weeks, in the next less than 2 weeks, I should say, a week and a half, with New Year's Eve being the week from this coming Sunday, because this coming Sunday will be Christmas Eve, of course. But anyways, like they got married in Las Vegas, Nevada, in December 31st, 2021. And what's your thoughts on Matt Cardona, real life husband of Chelsea Green, and former Zack Ryder in WWE, complimenting her with such a unusual and unique nickname, which I should just stick with the unique name because it's very creative, like in a way for his in his side of things, of course. But I wish the couple the best in their respective careers, and also the best in their daily life as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts on this this silly nickname, this silly unique nickname, I should say? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And we got some more to talk about Chelsea Green onto the news. As it says, former WWE writer praises Chelsea Green. Actor and former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr. praised Chelsea Green for making her character work despite limited screen time. Prince loves Green's character, but laments that she's not given any chances to get over. And he said, like, while with him while speaking on his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, Freddie had this to say about Chelsea Green. He said, "They do give Chelsea Green and Piper backstage segments, so they at least try to give them opportunities to get over in that regard. And then a small, quick match that usually doesn't mean much. Chelsea's making the most out of it," Prince said. And what's your thoughts on Freddie Prinze Jr. onto his opinion on Chelsea Green and seeing exactly what WWE is doing with her? Which he said, I gotta hand it to WWE. They're giving her some screen time backstage, but maybe perhaps give her some more time, like whether she's in the ring or even giving the microphone inside the squared circle, and show what she's made of onto this industry, or in this industry, I should say, like in general. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, which I think that's probably what's lacking, like more time. But he also complimented and praised that she, despite that, she's making the best out of it. Like, even though her time is limited when it comes to her matches and her promo, like her skills is she's very talented, and she needs more time. Like, WWE needs to give her more time, like in promo segments, and she's she's a very talented performer as well. On top of that, which make her double gifted in the squared circle. Which I gotta admit, despite being an annoying Karen gimmick in WWE programming, she still puts on a dulless performance, no matter who she's facing. Whether even if it's like someone like Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, even though they're talented in their own way as well, but they don't really get that much TV time. but they still put on a good match, and they managed to put on a good show, even though it's not match of the night kind of level, but it's still something to give the fans on and give the fans, and also they get TV time on top of that, like killing two birds with one stone, and because and also for the fact that she's women's tag team champion, but they need to start using her more often, like when it comes to storytelling, especially like they need some storytelling in their women's tag division in general, like because there's not really much story like when it comes to women's tag team feuds. It is put together some tag teams, even with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green as well. Like it's very rare to see a tag team like put together and winning the titles, which the only ones that did that was the only tag team that managed to do that was the Iconics, which even though they only had a they only had like a few months of their reign as women's tag team, and they hardly defended their tag team titles, which was very pointless at the time. And then after they lost the title, it was in a burial kind of fashion, like to who that was it, Alexa Bliss and Asuka, or was it not Asuka? I mean, not. I mean, I'm thinking of last year, but I meant to say Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, or was it the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, which I believe was Alexa. They lost the titles to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That's who it was. But yeah, that's but yeah, I think that's the only women's tag team that managed to be like a legitimate women's tag team, like that were already paired up, like even when it got to the company, which they're finally doing that with Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, even though they were kind of separately, but they're legitimately best friends, like, and they and I'm probably going to be criticized. I'll also add Bailey and Sasha Banks, like for the fact they both got into WWE together, like known as the two out of the four horsewomen in WWE, which I would say that's another tag team. The only them and the Iconics, which they're the first and second ever women's tag team champions of this modern day WWE's women's tag team lineage. So I would say there's not that much women's tag teams that were originally formed as a team. Well, I mean, I could also add Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, but they were paired as the Way, which was a very popular women's duo in NXT at the time, back in 2020 and 2021, along with her teaming with Johnny Gargano, her real life husband, and adding Austin Theory to the group too, like which it was Candice, Johnny, and then their teammates Austin Theory and Indy Hartwell teaming with them as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this? Yeah, with Freddie Prinze Jr. and his opinion of Chelsea Green. I think even if Chelsea Green was a single solo competitor, I would say she still should get some more TV time, like because she's a massively good talker. Like when it comes to of telling a story and playing a character, like which is her Karen gimmick, like with her threatening Adam Pierce to threatening Adam Pierce to tell his boss of like if she's and I quote being mistreated by the Raw GM. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below about that. But anyways, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is and we're gonna look at why did Roman Reigns crown Solo Sikoa as the next tribal chief, like like tribal chief, like damage control measures explored, explored, yeah, measures explored. I should say. But anyways, let me continue by talking about the tribal chief. Roman Reigns made the bold decision to announce the next or the next tribal hair, I should say, for the excuse me, for the bloodline. And it's Solo Sikoa, the undisputed champion, wanted to use his return to SmackDown during the holiday to the holidays to all acknowledge all the hard work done by the enforcer and give him the honor he deserved. However, at applauding Sikoa for his work, for his work during his absence, uh, like might not be the only reason why the tribal chief made made the announcement. Like it's been pointed out that Roman Reigns has shown signs of fearing Solo Sikoa, and and the fear may still loom in the shadows. The tribal chief may have announced Sikoa as here as as hair to keep the enforcer to content, like and happy with the bloodline. My apologies, with the bloodline. One one of Roman Reigns' major pillars in WWE is Solo Sikoa, and without him, he will no longer be the barrier of gold. It's it's important that Reigns does whatever is needed to keep Sikoa, I should say, to keep Sikoa by his side. The former NXT North American champion has helped Roman retain his title several times since joining the faction in September 2022. Solo Sikoa has never betrayed the tribal chief, unlike Jimmy Uso, who left the bloodline and returned to the faction in few months later. However, the street champion has shown his signs of becoming displeased. Excuse me. Showing displeased, like with Reigns, like actions, showing displeased of Reigns' actions. Like he may not take it kindly if the tribal chief tries to dem, try to demean dominate him as he did with the Usos. The damage the damage control measures are necessary excuse me, are necessary if the tribal chief wants to survive with almost early superstar like eyeing to dethrone him, especially Randy Orton. And what's your thoughts on Roman Reigns, promoting him as a hair like of the bloodline and next in line of being tribal chief? Do you think is to keep him on his good side so he won't make Sol Sikoa unappreciative and and to the point that he'll cost him his undisputed championship and even be the next one to be betrayal? because he's running out of options and running out of family members, ran out of family members and barely got one of them back, like from them betraying at the beginning of this year, which it was pointless for Jimmy Uso, but it was a blessing in disguise for Jey Uso for him being called over to Raw into an exchange for Kevin Owens, like with the working negotiations along with Cody Rhodes, like with with WWE, and then bringing in Nick Aldis for him picking Kevin Owens for WWE bringing Jey Uso to Raw. And what's your thoughts on? Excuse me. What's your thoughts on that? Like on Roman Reigns, doing that so he won't be the next younger brother of the Usos, like of betraying him, and you'll have and they're starting to have like a 50% or even a 75% chance of losing this Universal Championship. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And then it's also telling the story that he's not going to promote Jimmy Uso to him being the heir of the bloodline for the fact that he was the first one to betray him along with his brother Jey Uso. But anyway, we also got some more Roman Reigns news on about he has shockingly shocking statistics of 2023. Like even though Reigns is one of the top top superstars in WWE, he has not represented the undisputed WWE Universal Championship enough in 2023. On the other hand, Seth Rollins has continuously been putting the World Heavyweight Championship on the line and has been a fighting champion. It so happens that the Tribal Chief had only 11 matches throughout the year. He has more schedules about for 2023. Out of the 11 matches, he worked in two tag team matches alongside Solo Sikoa, and last both and those last two matches in the tag team match with the Tribal Chief teaming with the Enforcer saw him lost those two matches, which was to first Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship at Night of Champions at the end of May of 2023, I believe, and then also WWE and then in 2023, and then and then later on, like a month later or a month and a half later, at the beginning of July, this is where he lost again against his own cousins, Jimmy and Jey Uso, with him teaming with Solo Sikoa. But this time, him taking the pinfall to Jey Uso, which led them to facing him at SummerSlam, of course. But let's move on to what's your thoughts on that? Like, what's your let me know what y'all's thoughts on him only wrestling 11 matches out of the year of 2023, whether if that being matches on screen on TV, especially on pay-per-views, like in pay-per-views, and then some of the half being on live event house shows, like especially the Super Show against Sami Zayn, of course. Which that's the only one I heard recently about Roman Reigns, his status of wrestling in house shows, and also Rey Mysterio at the beginning of the year for the Universal Championship. What's your thoughts about this insane statistic of 2023 with him only wrestling 11 matches? But let me know in the comments down below. But we're gonna have move on to some even more Roman Reigns news now. Is to retire 20-time champion at Royal Rumble and set up a blockbuster dream match like for WrestleMania 40, exploring the possibility. It says on the latest episode of SmackDown, Roman Reigns returned for the first time since he defeated LA Knight at Crown Jewel in Crown Jewel 2023, of course. Upon his return, Reigns addressed like several different things concerned the concerning the bloodline. However, the highlight of the comeback. A lot of the comeback was the segment he shared with Randy Orton. During his promo, Orton challenged the tribal chief to a match at Royal Rumble, whereas the latter mentioned that take he he take out the he would take out the Viper permanently, while his promo was enjoyed by many in WWE. I mean, by many, I should say. My apologies. Uh, WWE can book an angle that could lead to a massive Roman Reigns rematch at WrestleMania 40. It says in the coming weeks, like the Stanford-based promotion could book an angle where the Bloodline takes out Randy Orton, which could lead to Cody's coming to SmackDown in advent in event in an event in advan in a in av in advan in avenging the fourth in a not avenging I should say avenging Goldman SmackDown in avenging the 14-time world champion, given that Orton helped Rhodes at Survivor Series. This is a way to latter the way the latter could pay back. While the angle is speculative, like if the Stanford-based promotion decides to go ahead with the same it could lead a rivalry between Reigns and Rhodes, leading to a massive rematch at WrestleMania 40 in the coming weeks. It will be worth watching how this story progresses. But anyway, where'd that go? But yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Like, and do you think this is gonna turn into like that? Do you think that Cody Rhodes is gonna come back? I mean, I'm not come back. He already is back in the company from his injury, I should say. Do you think that Cody Rhodes is gonna be on SmackDown thanks to Randy Orton being in a feud with Roman Reigns, with him being outnumbered by the Bloodline, and we can see the return of Cody Rhodes with him being stipulated if he can win the number one contenders match, he can get his rematch against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship to finish the story. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments down below. It's only just a theory right now, but I was thinking about that just the other day. I was like, and even if he, how we could get on SmackDown, like he could either show up like and be like an invitational with three Raw wrestlers, like being participants in the men's number one contender, Survivor, not Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber, or we can see him in the angle with Orton being outnumbered by the Bloodline, and he can call backup, like for the fact that they scratched each other's back with favors, like with scratch each other back with like with Randy Orton, like needing needing Cody Rhodes, he could give him a call like Cody Rhodes did for like what Randy Orton did for Cody Rhodes at War Games. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to the next one. But anyways, yeah, we got some more Roman Reigns news. Is wrestling legend believes 20-time wrestling legend believes 20-time 20-time champion could beat Roman Reigns. In recent times, Roman Reigns has looked visible, while many big names have tried to dethrone the tribal chief. None of them have been able to do so. However, as per former WWE superstar Mark Henry, a 20-time champion could finally end Reigns is dominant in the a dominant reign in the Stanford-based promotion. The 20-time champion is Randy Orton. Question is Randy Orton. During an appearance on Busted Open Radio, Henry mentioned that WWE booking Orton to beat Reigns isn't a far-fetched idea. That AEW star added that he feels Orton is is the only guy who could dethrone Reigns, and he said to put Randy Orton in a position to beat Roman Reigns. I don't see that being for Jack for being Jack or being far ejected. Like yeah, I should say being far ejected. I I really I really don't I far fetched, I should say, not jet. My bad. Would be far fetched. Really don't. I really don't. He's the only guy that I can see actually beating Roman Reigns with his championship. Pedigree set championship said pedigree from the world's strongest man onto this onto the Busted Open podcast or Busted Open Radio, I should say, the Busted Open Radio. It if Orton can destroy if if Orton can dethrone Reigns, he will become a 15-time world champion. Then it would be very interesting to see if the Stanford-based promotion books him to equal or break Cena and Ric Flair's record of 16-time world champions. However, like before that, Randy Orton must focus on the task of at at hand the hand and figure like and figure out like a way to beat Reigns if they face each other. Given the bloodline will support Reigns, it will be hard to defeat him. But what's your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on Mark Henry thinking that Randy Orton could possibly beat the tribal chief? And he looks like the guy that's going to bring in some multiple views for him being the main eventer of SmackDown and adding the 15th reign into his arsenal, which I believe he'll make it to 15, but not at this time. I think you're going to hold off until Roman Reigns remains, like until like we could see him be dethroning him, and he could be the only one to do so. But I think we could see him be so close, but he'll be screwed out of the bloodline once again, be outnumbered until the American Nightmare shows up. Like, what if that be in the Royal Rumble or even Elimination Chamber? Because what if they do a rematch and they can do like on the road to WrestleMania, do AJ Styles versus LA Knight, and we can have Randy Orton taking on like Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania, which I believe if Solo Sikoa's not gonna face John Cena in a rematch, I think he's gonna face one of the best friends of the leader of the C Nation. But I would say, me personally, I don't think like Roman Reigns is gonna lose that title anytime before WrestleMania 40. If anything, you'll probably will have him be the champion have the championship more longer. Which hopefully that won't be the case because I really want to see the American Nightmare finish the story. And we could see a new chapter begin with him being the champion and even have Randy Orton be his first title defense opponent at Backlash, live in France, of course. But let's move on to the next one, which is okay. We got some Undertaker news now, and it says the Undertaker's second WrestleMania opponent. Already read this. My apologies. Coming up next, we got some Rhea Ripley news now. Is Rhea Ripley to miss WWE Raw tonight? Why the Judgment Day may be in some predicament, be in some kind of predicament like jeopardy. Rhea Ripley is often deemed to be the unofficial leader, the unofficial leader of the Judgment Day. Mommy is denied to keep their to keep not just call herself but her dominant faction on top. Case in point when Finn Balor and Damian Priest lost the undisputed tag team championship against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes earlier this year. Mommy made it clear that they would have to do whatever it takes to get get the titles back. The Prince and the Archer of Infamy ensured that they followed like through on Ripley's orders, but they they might find like themselves in a similar situation on tonight's WWE Raw. It it so happened that that the a, that the it seems that the Eradicator was the Eradicator was doing absence for fast lane was absent like the Eradicator was absent for Fastlane 2023, that was uh, and that was again that was what's it that was and that is where like the Judgment Day like lost the undisputed tag team titles, I should say. There is a high possibility that Rhea will not be present on tonight's WWE Raw, considering she is currently in Australia with Dominic Mysterio. Both Mommy and Dirty Dom are promoting WWE's upcoming show. It says right here, down under the Elimination Chamber, if tonight's Raw, the Stanford-based promotion, can explain their absence. I I I citing promotional events as the reason. It says keeping that in mind, Damian Priest and Finn Balor are themselves with JD Madonna not really being a threat, in no Dominic to run like interference if needed. On the other hand, the Creed brothers need to receive some help from Cody Rhodes, since they come to his aid, against Shinsuke Nakamura last week. If the Judgment Day is possibly promised by promotion, like the Creed brothers may be able to secure a victory over Balor and Priest. And what's your thoughts on the Creed brothers not what are your thoughts on Mommy Rhea and Dirty Dominic Mysterio not being on tonight's Raw, for them promoting Elimination Chamber and Dom's not Dom, and Rhea's home, and not Dom, Rhea's home country of Australia. Which we won't see no interference, so we'll see some new the new upcoming NXT stars now being Raw stars, being the new undisputed WWE World Tag Team Championships, I should say, if I can consider it being known as a World Tag Team Champion. But which I think, now that they mention it, it could happen, which I predicted it was going to be the Judgment Day and they're going to defeat them in an undefeated streak. But I think now comes to mention it, I could see the Creed brothers can remain undefeated by dethroning the Judgment Day, becoming the main roster undisputed tag team champions. But yeah, again, make sure you leave a comment below and see if And let me know in the comments what your thoughts on that as well, and what's next we're going to see on TV, which I think we could see that happening. And if JD Madonna comes and interfere, we could see Cody Rhodes help fighting off JD Madonna, even if Shinsuke Nakamura interferes with Cody. That all depends on tonight's Monday Night Raw on December 18th, which we're going to get to that later on. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the Monday Night Raw review. And if you excuse me, I'll be right back. Excuse me. Get something to hydrate me and keep me very awake. But also we got some more news about Dominic and Rhea, with her shared an interesting photograph from Australia. As mentioned earlier, the Eradicator and Dirty Dominic are promoting Elimination Chamber, which is scheduled to take place in Perth, Australia. They have been sharing Instagram stories of autographs from their tour, and Mommy may have found another Dom in Australia. The WWE superstars were hanging out with a young Australian wrestler named Jesse Lambert. The young man holds a strong resemblance to Dominic Mysterio, and Ripley took the opportunity to pose with him and posted on social media. But here's the image of it with Rhea Ripley hanging out with this young Australian man. Let's hope she's not making Dominic jealous with this man. And even so, that's not the first guy she made Dom jealous, or even Buddy Matthews, I should say. But anyway, the caption also, the article also wrote, Rhea Ripley is currently the Women's World Champion, while Dominic Mysterio recently lost his NXT North American championship to Dragon Lee. The NXT Deadline, Dragon Lee at NXT Deadline on December 9th, 2019. Not 19, 2023. My apologies if I said 2019. Is it 2023? But what's your thoughts on that? And do you think that could be her new boyfriend, and she got him as their current boyfriend in all of professional wrestling? Y'all let me know down in the comments down below. Next up, we got some Charlotte Flair injury news updates. Charlotte Flair's injured, similarities to Seth Rollins, WWE career, threatening accident, potential return timeline. And it says right here, Shaw first suffered a torn ACL, MCL, and it was a min in the meniscus in the meniscus like the meniscus, I should say the meniscus as part of a move that was botched in her match against Asuka a week ago, and like on WWE SmackDown. It has since been revealed that Shaw Flair is looking at 9 months 9 months on in the s- in the sideline, and will be forced to undergo surgery before her journey back in the ring can begin. The injury may feel like similar to WWE fans since it was the since it was the same knee issue that Seth Rollins suffered back then. The former world champion was uh, was coming down off a upset flip. Upset flip. I said upset sunset flip. My apologies. But a sunset flip power bomb off the top rope. Hits a hitting the sunset flip when his knee buckled. I should say when his knee buckled, like when his knee buckled, which became one of his career's worst injuries. Rollins was then forced to undergo surgery and rehab before he could make his WWE return. Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules 2016, when he stepped in and feuded with Roman Reigns. That's what I say. And it says right here, Charlotte Flair could look at the same timeline for her WWE return. Flair's injury come a month later, like earlier, like in December, but she could be looking at a similar timeline, like for her return, much life, life was handed a 6 to 9 month like months prognosis, prognosis, which usually allow WWE sometime the schedule a surprise return. Software will miss next year's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 40, which will be heartbreaking for the former champion since there were clear just since there were plans in place for her to at both shows at both shows, she could she could be back in time for SummerSlam. So even a month before, depending on how quickly she will be undoubtedly undoubtedly to heal the rehab genuinely I get I think it depends on what was I quickly will be able to heal in rehab following surgery. Flair has always been seen as genetically superior as as something like received quickly from all recent injuries, and so she could find a she could find and do she can she could quickly from all recent injury, so she could find a way to do that again. And what's your thoughts on Crawford's injury, which it said she won't be able to wrestle until the latest will be at in August of 2024, which will be 20 WWE 2023, like saying it, I should say. What's your thoughts of her when they're making her in 2024? I mean, in SummerSlam beat early, and her heartbreakingly missing WrestleMania 40, not to mention the Royal Rumble pay per view. And what do you think what's next for the former 14-time women's champion? And do you think she'll be back in time and yet another again being in another women's title opportunity? Only time will tell. But in the meantime, I'm gonna send her my well wishes to the former SmackDown Women's Champion and Raw Women's Champion, of course. And hopefully she gets better soon, and or even sooner, which usually ACL and MCL torn MCL and ACL injuries usually last for like a good 6 to 8 months out of action, which you can name a lot of wrestlers that have been injured out of this list, and hopefully no other wrestler gets injured like what Charlotte Flair did, like when she tried to go up on the top rope and try to hit a suplex, I believe, but I think she landed the left side of her knee, which is her ACL and MCL, brought off the top rope on the left side of the ring, on the left hand corner ropes, I should say. And I'm gonna send her, my biggest wishes. And what's your thoughts on what kind of plans the WWE had for her, if she wasn't injured, and would she either face someone like a Bianca Belair or even a Jade Cargill, perhaps? Maybe so, but it looks like that's gonna be whatever plans they have for her to face either women is probably gonna be postponed for WrestleMania 41. Well, not 40. For the year after that, in 2025, will be WrestleMania 41. Yeah. But anyways, let's move on to the next. On the next video, which we're gonna end this video with, where we're gonna end this video on where is WWE Raw tonight, in December 18th, which is local time, match card and more. Which it says right here, tonight's WWE Raw will feature exciting title matches, thrilling segments, and the final live show of the brand this year. In in preparation for the holidays, the December 18th episode, December 18th, 2023 episode of WWE Raw will take place at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. The arena has a maximum capacity of up to 16,980,000 in and and is the home of the the AHL's Iowa Wild in the in the NBA G League Iowa Barnstormers. I should say Barnstormers. Several weekly shows from the Stanford-based promotion have occurred in tonight's arena. Their most recent venue to Roll Fargo's arena was for the June 9th, 2023 episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And it says right here it's going to be on Monday Night Raw. The city will be in Des Moines, Iowa, which will be in the Wells Fargo Arena. Time Eastern will be 8 p.m., Central 7 p.m., and 5 Pacific. And it says fans interested in watching the action live can purchase tickets through Ticketmaster. A single ticket cost of $188. On the other hand, the bundle of 2 tickets ranges from $45 to $372. What to what to expect for the upcoming Monday Night Raw show? Like WWE's tag team division is excuse me, upcoming. It says what to expect the for the coming Raw show. It says that we have WWE's women's tag team division and then we have WWE's tag team division is booked for the upcoming Monday first. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven will defend the women's tag team championships against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. And then we have for the women's tag team championships. We have and it says and Kaden Carter again you know what I'm saying he got again the former champion scored 2 wins in a row during the Monday show in the past few weeks, and they are looking to extend their victory streak tonight, just like the Creed brothers, of course. Anyways, the men's tag team division will also be in action tonight. Like the Creed brothers came out top top during a gauntlet match, like a gauntlet match weeks ago. The former NXT duo, have already defeated Dominic Mysterio and JD Madonna. Looking they're looking to defeat Finn Balor and Damian Priest, which they held the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champ on tonight's Monday Night Raw. And it says right here, The Miz will also be in action on WWE Raw. Many stars, including the A-lister, have tried to dethrone Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship after. And then this is where but yeah, it's a different champion, like crown, different champion is crowned. It said a little match has been set for the first of January 1st, 2024. Raw schedules between Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Like and the champion will address his challenger tonight. The latter has been chasing the title for a while now, and he will finally get his shot soon with the World Heavyweight Champion. Also thinking about CM Punk. It would be interesting to see if this would affect his performance. And what's your thoughts on and what's your thoughts on tonight's Raw? Do you think it's going to deliver? And this is going to be the last live episode of Raw before the beginning of the new year. So, beginning of the new year of 2024. What's going to happen? Like we're going to go ahead of tonight's Raw, which we're going to probably see some more segments with Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, and then we're going to see Seth Rollins call out Drew McIntyre because they have their match coming next Monday, I should say, or not next Monday, 2 Mondays from now, from night one, which we'll see who's going to walk out as world champion. Who you think is going to win that? Let me know in the comments below. Also, and who you think is going to win the tag team? I'll think of a Judgment Day, especially for the fact that they could have the Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, and JD McDonough. But I just realized Dominic Mysterio and his mommy Rhea are not in the States right now because they're promoting the pay-per-view Elimination Chambers, which that's going to be in Rhea Ripley's home country. And also, I'll say, and even if JD McDonough interfered, we'll probably have Cody Rhodes return the favor for the Creed brothers, and they win and become the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion and still remain to be unbeatable. But then again, they can be beatable on tonight's Monday Night Raw. But I think that the Creed brothers are going to remain undefeated and hold on to their begin a reign as WWE Tag Team Champion, undisputed WWE Tag Team. My apologies. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about in the comments down below. Also, make sure you check out my episode 183, I believe, of the SNA podcast, I'll say 183 if I'm not mistaken. 183 episode of the SNA podcast, part 19 of the Raw review. And it's gonna be, like it said on the news article, it's gonna be the last Monday Night Raw before the year is up. The last live Raw before the year is up. And the last time I'm gonna do Monday Night Raw review on 2023. And I'll say it could be special, but it's not that much of a special because the holiday of Christmas is the week from today, which that's 7 days. And I still have a whole lot of Christmas shopping I need to do with my family. But again, this was your wrestling news list. And which one was your favorite out of this list? And y'all let me know about that also in the comments down below. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, on this 182nd episode of the SNA podcast. the wrestling news part 69, where I talked about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know from the Sportskeeda article. Again, make sure you check out my Raw review, Raw review part 19, when Monday Night Raw goes off the air, where I'm going to be talking about what exactly went down, and hopefully the excitement start or continue to rise and stuff. And if they have the Creed brothers win, and also for another thing about the Creed brothers facing Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day for the tag team championship, and if they're gonna win, that's your main event to show. I think that's your main event to show. And we have and even if JD McDonough try to do something slick and dirty, expect Cody Rhodes to come out there. Hopefully that'll be the case if JD McDonough try to come out there into the dirty, try to go for a dirty maneuver, and we have the treat of Cody Rhodes coming in there to even the odds onto JD McDonough, which will distract Damian Priest and Finn Balor off their plans of winning in their dirty fashion. And we'll see the Creed brothers hits the electric chair Brutus bomb for the 1-2-3, which it could happen. Which I'm not ruling out that Damian Priest and Finn Balor could retain. Anything could happen. I'm saying, like, if there's any plans that the Creed brothers are winning, which I'm thinking, I'm gonna predict that the Creed brothers could possibly will win. But it's only just rumors, speculations, and just theories, like, and they're saying for the fact that both Dominic and Rhea Ripley are not in America right now, let alone in Iowa, for the fact that they're continuing promoting Australia's future event of WWE Elimination Chamber. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure you hit a big thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell notification so you can be you could be the first one to be noticed and notified when I upload my latest videos. And yeah, and hopefully y'all have a great Monday afternoon, and I'll see you all in the Monday Night Raw review. Until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin, the Assassin, out. Bye-bye, my SNA fans, for now, and hopefully y'all have a great afternoon.